Hello, I'm back. So we are going to clear the energy here and get into a reading, and I am going to be using my favorite deck because you should always use your favorite deck. Today, as often, you might remember that my favorite deck is the Golden Art Nouveau Tarot. So we're burning some energy to clear, we are burning off some stagnant energy here. Let me get, a lot of stuff got misplaced. Last night you might have had the same kind of experience. So I had to get a few things out of the trash, which is not ideal. But it's a good sign that you wake back up in 3D and can throw away the things that you actually need to throw away. Because you have to be really careful if you're in 5D throwing away something 3D, because you might not remember why you bought, wanted, kept something when you're in 5D. You have to bring that 5D knowledge to the 3D before you can throw something away. And I recommend almost always to try to give something away, not because it's so terrible to throw something away, but because we have so much baked into the idea of throwing stuff away, and it makes us feel really guilty and sad, because we have a lot of things. It's sort of like not respecting yourself in the past when you wanted something and it's like, okay, I didn't take care of this enough and so now I have to toss it. And I'm not talking about stuff like the container for the strawberries that you bought at the store. You might not have a garden to grow strawberries, and the strawberries that are nearby your house, the ones that take the less energy to get to you, are the ones that have the little cellophane box. So don't worry about stuff like that. Don't worry about bottles. One thing, hang on. One thing I've learned out of many is that glass is one of the main things that we don't need to throw away. Glass and anything that a kid might think would be a good toy. So a lot of the stuff that we throw away, you forget that as a kid, you would have really loved this thing. And if you could just think of what you would use it for, if it were a toy, if you were your younger self, then, and use your imagination, then you can either, from that place, which is the 5D, you can either choose to let it go so that somebody else can find it, or you let it go, as in you're letting go that part of yourself when you were young that needed to play through some kind of triggers using those objects, because that is what your stuff is. All of your stuff, if you are a stuff person, if you accumulate stuff, if you consider yourself a hoarder, or if somebody else considers you to be a hoarder, and you're maybe kind of scared of your stuff, like scared of like, why does it keep accumulating? Why can't I throw anything away? You know what? It's because you actually care. And it's not, you know, people who are so obsessed with the environment supposedly do not seem to care at all about your own personal environment. And everybody deserves to have a space that reflects exactly who they are. And sometimes the only strawberries that you can buy are the ones with the cellophane boxes, and you should not have to hang on to the cellophane box, which you didn't even consent to having, except insofar as it was a mechanism to bring strawberries into your home, which, guess what? You have a fucking right to strawberries. That's all. Unless you hate strawberries, in which case you still have a right to them. Guess what? You just have a right to hate them. If you're still allergic to them, like a lot of people are, it is because the world is telling you that you don't deserve strawberries for any fucking meal that you want to have strawberries. So, like I said, if you don't like strawberries, then screw it. If you're not in the mood for fruit most of the time, like some of us, then don't worry about it. It's because fruit is a lot of times really hard to find, because it only comes out at certain times of year. So really, we shouldn't be able to force strawberries any time of year. That's like what our species knows isn't right. Like when it's not strawberry season, you eat blueberries. When it's not blueberry season, you eat blackberries. whatever, whatever is actually in season. That's what your body, that's what the collective is craving, to work through the energy during that part of the cycle of the planet. So try to, the whole thing is about getting into your cycles. And if getting strawberries at the grocery store that's nearby your house, or better yet, there is probably somebody in a pickup truck on the side of the road who would love for you to come buy their fucking strawberries that they spent a lot of time and energy buying right about 1/8 of a mile from your house. So those are going to be the best ones you can find. That's like treasure. When you see somebody, a farm stand or a person selling fruit on the side of the road, that is like extremely good karma to stop somewhere like that. Because guess what? What is good karma, so-called karma? That just means you need to enjoy exactly what you're doing. And it's not as much fun. Let me tell you, it's not as much fun. It's not as enjoyable to go into the Piggly Wiggly and pick out strawberries, because guess what? Those strawberries don't look exactly like the strawberries you imagine in your mind as the perfect strawberries. But a lot of the time, if you go to a farm stand, if you go to a you-pick place, you will find that whatever strawberries are there seem to be the perfect strawberries if it's in season. Go to the farm stand, see what's there, see what your body is telling you it wants. If it doesn't want anything from the farm stand, or if you want to buy pansies at the farm stand instead, go with that. Do whatever you feel like doing. If you feel like then eating the pansies like a salad, go for that. Like a lot of people like that at fancy restaurants. You know what? They put pansies all over their salads. Like that's normal. It's like decoration, and it doesn't taste like anything except the way pansies smell, which is not, it's very unremarkable, to be honest. But we know that you eat strawberries, you don't eat roses, and they're very energetically similar. So you might not be here yet. This all might sound like garble, but if you found this message, take it from here. If you've gotten this far in this message, it's meant for you, and there's something here for you. So listen to what your gut is saying. If you think, oh, that girl is on drugs, that girl is hallucinating, whatever, or you don't even care, that's uninteresting, that's boring, schizophrenia, yada. Just know that the reason that you found something, the reason that you clicked on something is because there is a message for you that is trying to contribute to your ascension. So, that is your moment of truth. That is why we have this Ace of Swords here in reverse, because I'm kind of riding a wave of righteous anger, and it's righteous anger on your behalf that you're told that you have to go buy fruit at the store with cellophane boxes, and then you're punished for the idea of throwing away the cellophane boxes, which really don't have a use because there are too many. If you want, you should be able to eat strawberries every day. And that's too many cellophane boxes that make you feel guilty throwing them away. So let's try to reduce and guilt is an indication that something that happened was not completely in your 5D alignment. And just know that guilt is a natural emotion. It needs to be felt, but it is not real. The hologram is real, but it's not real. It is very confusing, but the only thing you can do is just feel into it and release, like one of those little straw things that you might get on a trip that's kind of like a cylinder, and it's made of straw. It's like woven, and you put your fingers into either side, and then somebody tells you, okay, now try to get your fingers out. So you pull your fingers, and then it tightens up on you. It's like a little trap. But what you really have to do is let your fingers go to the middle and wait until you can feel the fibers of that little tiny cylindrical basket around your fingers release. You wait until that tension releases, like a constrictor. Anytime you've seen that in a movie where you're supposed to wait, just release and let it constrict you for just a second, or just as a moment of authentic, okay, fine, I'm gonna let this happen. This is my karma right now. And then the boa constrictor releases, and lets you go. So this is a lesson about throwing stuff away. So I am going to release this wrapper later when it no longer looks pretty for me. This branding of this type of caramel bar is is, to be frank, a lot better than the branding that it was before. And I'm really glad that they have them at all the convenience stores now, because it's my favorite candy bar when I remember that it's my favorite candy bar. Okay, the Fool. Here we go. So the Art Nouveau Tarot, you should always use the tarot deck that is your most favorite at the time. And if you don't feel like tarot, if it doesn't make any sense to you, if it seems like the devil's energy, then yeah, stay away from it. Don't do that, and wait until it presents itself to you as an option that actually seems fun. If you've been noticing it, it's because it's something that might be meant for you. Whether or not you recognize the value of it and release it back to the quantum, or you choose to work through it yourself. So the Fool's energy, this is my favorite energy. And it's really good if you can always know that whatever cards come out should be your favorite card. Like, I just saw my favorite card go by, so that was like a little wink from my tarot cards. I could pull that out for y'all, but if you saw it, then you saw it too, and you know which card it was. Especially if you've listened to any of my channeling before. So your divine masculine is out there, and I am saying divine masculine because if you're watching my video, I have this feeling, I have this theory that the reason that you're watching it is because you ride the same energy as me, which is the polarity of the 3D rather than the polarity of the quantum. So we are going to let the masculines do their job, let them constrict the karma around us, and then release. And that is how you achieve climax. So we have the 9 of Wands in reverse. So this means we're going to back up. So we can't feel smug about anything, especially when we've made a couple of coins to rub together, and they, you know, you can sometimes be like, oh my God, I did it. Like one of my teachers talked about, it's like when you meditate, and this was Abraham Hicks, Esther Hicks, her channeling. But if you meditate, it's like at first you're going to feel like, okay, am I meditating? Am I meditating yet? What are those clovers across the way? Okay, am I meditating? What's the name of that church? Am I meditating yet? There it was. I meditated. And then it goes away. So let karma constrict around you and be okay releasing in those ways. So we're going to release back the 9 of Wands, release the 2 of Pentacles, because those were never my favorite card after all. So you can say that. Just like this one, it's one of the worst cards, right? But then some people really like the idea of that. And that's because that's where your karma is. Tower. Okay, so we're going to flip that over. And we're going to put her up here because that makes me uncomfortable right now. I don't think any divine feminine should be constricted by her karma. So that is the direction that we're going to go. We're going to move away from that energy and move into rejecting the King of Swords. The King of Swords, the guy who mansplains. The King of Swords is the energy of a mansplainer. This is your false twin. This is the part of the energy that your false twin rides on. He's a mansplainer. He's not very nice. His weapon of choice hits you too hard. It's too rough. It doesn't feel good. Yet he keeps on doing it. He keeps on fragmenting reality and fragmenting the idea of intercourse with reality with this disgustingly dangerous weapon. So you need to go over in the corner and think about what you did, King of Swords, because we are no longer here for it. We're no longer here for it. And you know who we're looking for. And we're not going to keep telling you who you need to be either. You can come to us as the King of Cups if you want to, but only when you want to. So, and even then he's just going to be your reflection, but you know who's your reflection if you're getting the King of Cups. Your reflection is that you were the Queen of Cups, which is the direct pathway to the Empress energy. So I think that's our message for today. And I'm going to let you go and try to process this. I hope that you can do some really good shadow work today. And if the shadow work that you're doing is that you need to fall asleep and just, let the internet, let that go. Let the universe, let your field guide your behavior, guide your choices, guide your next moves, then it's okay if you need to take a nap, because sometimes you might need to just sleep, especially if you've checked out of a couple of cycles in a row to do your own shadow work. So go out in the dark, whatever that means for you. Confront your shadow, go directly to your shadow, and essentially in that way, that is where the light is going to be, right exactly in the middle of your shadow. So I love y'all. I can't wait to see you soon. Bye.